that are going on now to the next level so that you can not only survive through this, but actually thrive through this time that we're in now and learn how to build a successful, highly profitable business. My name is Lamar Tyler. I'm the creator and founder of Traffic, Sales, and Profit. We help entrepreneurs do three things: drive more traffic, convert more sales, and grow the amount of profit in their businesses. And I'm glad that you are here today. We've been doing daily interviews, right, with some of the top subject matter experts across the country and really, right, like across our globe to help you with your sales and marketing to build a better business. The businesses that get through these trying times that we're in right now will be much stronger once they actually come out of this position. And you get stronger by actually educating yourself, by learning new skills, learning new pieces of your actual marketing puzzle so that you can begin to apply those and not just applying them when you come out of this, but actually applying them now. So if you're watching, do me a favor. I always ask folks when we first start a show that if you can hear me, you can see me, I need you to drop down to the comments, give me your name, where you're from. And if you have a business, share your business as well. You never know, somebody might need to connect with a business owner or a company just like yours. So your name, where you're from, your actual business, drop that down into the comments as we get going. I see we have people here watching already. And I want to share with you who we have today. This is the follow-up to a conversation we had during our Quick Cash Summit that we did for you guys. So I wanted to say, hey, we did doing that. We bring them back on. We're bringing them back today. And today we're joined by Donnie Bryant. Donnie Bryant is direct response copywriter and marketing consultant. He has a proven history of doubling and tripling his clients' revenue with effective marketing strategy and compelling sales copy. Guys, without further ado, do me a favor and show some love as we bring on Mr. Donnie Bryant. Hey, Donnie, what's going on, man?
Lamar, brother, it is always a pleasure to see you and to be in the building.
Hey, man, like I said, you're definitely a TSP family, so we appreciate you always showing up whenever we make the call and being here to help people out as we kind of navigate, okay, how can we build our businesses? Like I said, especially in special times like now when the economy is hurting, right? People are trying to figure out what they should or shouldn't do. And I know, before we did the interview, we talked a little bit, and I want to make sure we share with folks today, what they can do. It's like a lot of questions I'm hearing, right? Should I be selling? Should I be marketing? What's the language I should be doing? And kind of like in a time like this, what's working now? So kind of what's working now overall in 2020, but then in a time specifically like this, what's working now? What are you seeing? So it's going to be fun. But before we get started, for people that may not have seen you before, may not have seen you navigating through these TSP streets for a while now, or maybe didn't catch the Quick Cash Summit, can you just give them a little more background about who you are and what you do?
Yeah, I've been a copywriter. I just had a conversation with another brother. Everybody doesn't know what copywriting is. Basically, when you're writing something with the intent of selling something, that's what I do. And that's what copywriters do. So I've been doing it since 2007, worked with a lot of industries, a lot of niches, and made a lot of money for my clients. Like the bio says, doubling and tripling. And I didn't even really think about that until I was looking at some of these numbers recently, and the ability to write words that really make people want to take action can double and triple your business, or can do more than that. So that's me. I mean, I don't want to dwell too long on my on me, because we need to get into this content. I'll say I don't even know I haven't looked recently at what the revenue numbers are recently that I'm directly responsible for. But like the last couple of years, it's like we're doing like 10 million a year ish. But I haven't looked at it recently. Been too busy actually creating. So if you want to make millions of dollars, let's have this conversation. I can't guarantee it. My lawyer won't let me. But we're getting you in that direction.
All right, so if you're interested in hearing from a man as part of a machine that's pumping 10 million-ish, right, this is a conversation you need to be on, and make sure you are tuned in and locked in today, right? Get your notepad ready, get ready to take notes. Normally, will cost you a lot of money to learn, probably just a few of the nuggets Donnie's going to drop today, but I want you guys to get a hold of them. So Donnie, right, you talked about what copywriting is, which is a good thing, because normally we just kind of jump right into it. But actually, you reminded me of something. Can you actually tell them what a direct response copywriter is? Because they might say, all right, my cousin is a copywriter for the newspaper, right? Or they copyright for, authors and stuff like that. What's that direct response piece, and what's the significance of that?
Yeah, direct response is basically we're trying to get the reader, or in this case, we could be viewers and listeners also. We're trying to get our audience to take action now. And usually the action we want them to take is to buy something. Sometimes like it's to opt into, to sign up for your list, or it's to sign up for an event that you want to show up to. But ultimately, we're driving to creating cash. That's the action we want to do. So you can write a blog post that informs, educates, inspires. That's cool. Direct response is about getting the money.
I love it. I love it. Hey, do me a favor. For everyone that's watching, right? If you're interested in that conversation part about getting to the money, drop a comment down below into the actual chat. As we kick this off, I see we got a lot of folks tuning in from all over the place as we get going. So, Donnie, you were on our Quick Cash Summit. And on the Quick Cash Summit, anybody missed it,
Yeah.
you can catch the replay, www.quickcashsummit.com. And you were on the summit, and we talked about email, we talked about copy. So I want to talk about a little bit of that, and then make sure we advance the conversation forward a little bit. So we talked
Sure.
about, some of the biggest issues and problems you see a lot of times. People not emailing enough. People being afraid to email. People being afraid that I sent out to 1,000 people. 8 people told me they were unsubscribing. Now my world is falling apart. That type of thing as we do. But as from what you see right now, like what should we be doing? Like I said, it's in 2020, and I don't know if it's 2 questions in one, but in 2020, what we should be doing, but especially right now, it's a pandemic going on. How should we be communicating, especially if we want to generate sales at the end of it? Because everybody doesn't have the benefit to say, I'm not going to sell nothing for the next 2 months and I'll come back. I'll come back in the fall and sell something in, because some businesses won't be around if they take that approach.
I don't have it.
So for the people that need to do something
I
now,
think,
they need
listen,
to generate,
even,
what do they do?
yeah, even if you have $1 million cash sitting in the bank, you should not pull back now. It would be suicidal and irresponsible of you. The first thing I want to tell you is it's your job, it's your responsibility, notwithstanding the money. You need to get it. But like, you have to serve your audience. You don't get to act like a punk just because it's a pandemic out here. It's your job to serve your audience in the way that you came to this earth for a purpose. It's your job to do it. So don't act like times are different and you got to be different. Times are hard. You got to be better. And so I encourage you to sell as much as ever or more. They need it. And then the other thing that people really need and are responding to right now, I mentioned this on the Quick Cash Summit, is leadership. Meaning, I know how to help you through this in this particular field, or I can give you the merchandise, the product, the instruction you need to do this well right now. And if you bring confidence and clarity and help your audience, your customers, help them feel confident, help them have clarity, and to feel in control of their situation a little bit more, even if it's just a little bit, you're going to influence them in a very powerful way. And I found make a whole lot of money. I just told Lamar before we hopped on, one of my clients, he went deep into leadership. He said, I'm not worried about what's happening right now at all. And here's how you can do the same thing. Here's how you can feel the same way. And the best month in the history of the company before last month was 25. We did 25% more than we've done in our best month ever, in the middle of coronavirus, in the middle of shutting down everything, in the middle of people are scared, because we were aggressively saying, I can help you. And that's the point. You're in your mind, you need to decide, I can help and I'm here to help. And that involves selling sometimes. So that's the first thing.
All right. So
the
hold on.
mindset of I'm going to serve and lead.
So that part is good because and I love how you started out, right? The whole you don't get to be a punk right now. And that's one of the things I was even saying during the summit as we were talking. It's easy to project yourself as a leader when everything is going right. Right? When all the money's going in and everybody got money, everybody got a job, everybody got a business, a side hustle, even if they pretend it's a main hustle, right? It's great then, but you find out who the real leaders are when things get a little bit sticky, when things get a little bit tough. So I love that fact that you don't get to be a punk. And what you said too has really been a lot of the approach that I've taken internally, right? And as I've been talking to people and colleagues and peers and everything, some of them can't understand everything we're doing because we've been giving away like a lot of free stuff when we clearly could be selling a lot of stuff we're giving.
Yeah.
But that's my thing has been like, hey, I just got to get my people to safety. And I have all trust that when I get them to safety, right, like I'll be all right on the back end of it, because I think in the time like this, people respect those people that showed them that they cared, that showed them the way, that showed them, how they can cover their the basic hierarchy of needs, right? How they can kind of cover those needs for themselves and their family, and they don't forget when things shift and when things turn around and when things change either. And I always say, out of situations like this,
Right.
you see new thought leaders emerge. You see new people in the press emerge that you never saw before, but now that person is like locked in and they're on your TV every night. You see new businesses that you never heard of that fill a specific need in that time, but when the dust settles, like they're still standing there. So I love that, man. I love that. And confidence and clarity. So we talk about confidence and clarity. If I'm communicating via email, right, and I'm trying to get a response out of people, how do I articulate confidence and clarity in my actual email marketing?
Well, you have to, well, first of all, be confident, right? Know that what you're doing is high value, high quality, and can actually help. If you don't believe in what you're doing, it's going to come across. It probably will come across unless you're a great sociopath and a liar. But there's none of them in this group, so we won't worry about that. But like, pretend that you're talking. This is a great tip across the board. When you're writing copy, writing an email, if you're writing a sales letter, you're writing a video, script for video, pretend you're talking to one person who you really care about and who you can really help in one specific way. I really want you to talk about one thing at a time. But like I'm talking to Lamar because I can help Lamar make more money. Or Lamar's talking to me because he can help me make more money, and he knows it. So you need to talk to as if you're talking face to face with them, sitting on a couch, whatever, bar stools, whatever. And I'm gonna tell you I can help you. Here's how I'm gonna do it with confidence. Don't. And I find like we sometimes want to water it down. Like I don't want to overpromise. I want to underpromise and overdeliver. But if you underpromise, people are gonna forget. They don't care.
Right.
Like I can kind of help you. Don't do that. I know how to help you, and believe it, and then just like communicate with that, like one-on-one conversation as if you're talking to somebody who you like, who you know you can help, and you know how to help them, and then just be very clear about what that looks like. If you paint the picture for them, also, like paint a picture of what's going on and what it will look like when they're finished. And maybe depending on how much detail you want to get into, what the process looks like as you're doing it. Show them I got a clear step-by-step way to get you from A to B. I can get you from $500,000 to $1 million, whatever. I can get you from stomach bulges and love handles to six packs and babes on your or whatever whatever. I know how to do it. That's for those of y'all who are looking for babes or. But my wife likes my love handles, by the way. So, but anyway, the point is, if you can help somebody do it, I can help you get booed up. I know how to do it. Whatever it is whatever your thing is, I can help, and just carry that vibe with you. And if you had to get yourself psyched up before you sit down and write, that's what you need to do.
So this is good because as you talk about this, it makes me think of Nikki Klug, right, who's in our community. She's watching this now. I see her down in the chat. So Nikki is an interior designer, and right now she has a challenge going on, right?
She's a boss.
Yeah, exactly, right? She definitely is. And she's helping people transform their home office into this like high-performance money space. So that's like exactly what you're talking about, right? Like I got a formula, I got a system, whatever it may be, to help your, messy, cluttered, stinky, smelly home office or whatever, right? Go from this to this other place where I'm going to get results. So it would be her articulating that through email, projecting confidence and clarity, right? I got my notes of what you've been saying. Hope all y'all got your notes too. I'm talking one-on-one to that person, not like I'm talking to everybody, but making that person feel like we're in a room having a one-on-one conversation, and then painting that picture from how they get from that junky, cluttered, crazy, tight office they're in now to the one of their dreams. Or maybe it's not even in their dreams, but Nikki paints that picture. Would that be right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. And she adds in, this is where the space where you can make money. Like the benefit is not just it looks cool in here. The benefit is here's where I can come my space to operate at peak productivity and peak profitability. And the benefits, you know what they are: body, bank, boo. Tell me how to get my body right, how to get my money right, how to get my relationships right. And when you do body, bank, and boo, you're instantly interesting and instantly interesting and instantly valuable, because those are the things that we care about: body, bank, and boo.
All right. Make sure y'all get that down in the chat. I wanted to see y'all type that in the chat to make sure you retain that, right? Those three things, what those three
Listen,
things that
I
Donnie
have I
just
haven't
said.
trademarked it yet, so don't steal
Just put that down in the chat. Put a dash behind it in Lamar Tyler. That's all we need to do to get that on the record right quick. All right, so
it.
all right, so we got those pieces right. We focusing on all right. Those are the if I'm talking about the body, their bank, or their boo, right? Then that gives me the head start and it helps connect to what people really want. What else do they need to know, like I said,
Yeah.
about communicating people in this time? So if they're writing emails and they said, all right, you know what, Donnie told me to do the Quick Cash Summit, I need to write more emails, no matter how many emails I'm writing, I need to write more. So what are some other things they
Yeah.
should know about specifically writing in this time?
Here's one thing that we kind of hear about, but I think we don't trust ourselves in doing it, and we don't do it enough, and that's telling stories. And there's so many stories you can tell, so many stories that you probably don't realize how impactful they would be if you told them, and stories that people will remember much longer than they're going to remember your 3 steps, your 3-step process into doing whatever. They'll remember the story that you told. Listen, do you remember when I was at the mastermind, I told the story about putting lemon juice in my eye?
Yes. Yes, I do. Yeah.
You'll never forget it. I don't even remember what my point was. I do now. I do remember what my point was. I was talking to Dr. Murray or Dr. Rowe about people are willing to do desperate things, and there's crazy stories about people doing desperate things. But that's the point. People will remember your stories, and your emails can and should be entertaining in that way. The story that you told about almost getting shot in Baltimore. Never forget it. I'll never forget it. And I bet there are a lot of other people who probably still bring it up when they see you.
Yep.
You had us hanging on like when is this email coming? I need to know what happened. And those stories, man, if you tell your personal stories about struggles that you overcame, challenges that you faced, you can tell. If you tell embarrassing stories, people will read those. They can't, they can't not read those stories, right? And then you share how you went from this embarrassing thing to this place of confidence, how you went from this place of struggle to a place of victory, how you overcame a challenge, or how you discovered something that was wrong. And you can tell these stories. They're personal, so they bond people with you. That's the other thing. There's an infinite number of places where people can get information. There's no shortage of places to get information. But they're not going to get your stories anywhere but from you. And information, again, people like information. It's not really what moves people. They move based on their personal motivation to achieve something and the emotions around that. And story is a great way to deactivate the sales resistance. I'm just reading a story. I want to know about Lamar. I want to know about Donnie. What did he do last week? Or how did he deal with this situation? If people are in a situation, you know what they're in. And I was in that situation. Here's how I got out. That story is going to fly. They're going to love that. But they like the stories. And then it brings out the emotion. So if they start to feel hope, oh, okay, there's hope in the situation that may feel hopeless. I can get more of that from Lamar. Let me click the button to take the next step, or whatever. There's hope, and then if they say there's like a benefit for me, I can start to feel a little bit of greed. Let me go take it. If there's fear, I'm a little bit nervous, but I can see how there's relief of fear. I'm gonna click that button, and so you can do all those things with stories. So anyway, I think stories need to happen. That's what I'm getting at. Like the things that's working right now is you have to be more engaging and entertaining than ever before, because people will tune you out if you bore them, guaranteed. Story is a great way to do that. One great way to do that.
So I love that's one of the things I'm always telling the mastermind, because I'm always telling them, like, as it relates to selling, and I don't care whether it's products, whether it's services, you need to have a story attached to it. Like, and the story is what makes people care. The story is what kind of brings the connection. The story is why I think you relate to me, right, and relate to my problem and my situation. So whatever it is we're selling, like, let's just have a story around it so that it makes sense quickly, right? And the person clearly see why
Yeah.
there's a need for whatever it is that you have. Now, let me ask you a question about storytelling before we move on. Because
Right.
Stacy Taylor, shout out to Stacy in the chat. She said, I have a hard time with personal storytelling, right? She's trying to work on it. Any tips or techniques or specific kind of technical strategies you use for storytelling?
You can you can always do. I have a friend who did such and such, and tell your stories as if somebody else did them. You could do that if you're. But I mean, here's the thing. You like that? You have to realize that what you have, like, it will touch other people. People, I think Conrad said it. People are waiting for you. They're specifically waiting for you to show up. They're here waiting for you. And so, how you're going to reach them in a lot of cases is telling your story, the good and the bad. And people resonate with that. People feel like you're my kind of person, and they want to buy from people who are like them. They want to buy from people who they share values with, and they want to keep listening to. So even if they're not ready to buy from you today, but they'll hang out with you. They're gonna bang with you long term if they feel like you understand them, and they won't buy from somebody who they feel like doesn't get their issues. So your stories, you just have to get over it. It's just one of those things that we had to do. It took me some time too. There's a lot of things it took me years to really talk about, because it's like I don't want anybody to know this. But when you begin to reveal those things, and you find that people, not only do they not like reject you, if it's a fear of rejection, I don't know, but it's not that they're not going to run away, they're not going to make fun of you, and they're not going to think less of you. What they're going to do is the right people, they're going to bond to you like never before. And that's when you like unlock the next level of influence and persuasion. Something that goes even beyond words is I feel like we're friends almost. We all have those people, right? Like, I feel like I know that dude. I feel like I'm like, we go back in the day, and you never met him before, but you feel like I could rock with that person through whatever. And it's the only thing that can do that is your stories. It's the only thing that can do that. Take it to the next level.
I love it. I love it.
So the tip, there's no technical tip. Get over it. Like, realize how important stories are. And get over it.
The tip is, a lot of your tips you give about writing and copywriting in general, right? Is just to practice, and just to get kind of comfortable and used to just doing it. And the more you do it, the kind of better you get, and you see what people respond to. I mean, I think that's kind of like the same with speaking. As I speak on a lot of stages. So what I do is as I speak, and a lot of times it can be a story that just randomly comes up, but when I get one and it resonates with the audience, or they laugh a certain way, or they all nod in their head, I call it like the head nod factor, right? They all nod in their head when you're talking about a certain pain point. Then I say, you know what, that's it. And then the next time I take that piece and just kind of build on it a little bit more. So a lot of it is just the actual practice of doing it, right? And working on your craft as you kind of move through. All right. Shout out to Josh Jones.
It's a great point. If you share a little piece, of something and get positive feedback, it'll give you confidence. It's a great point. Like even on social, like people you trust maybe, and then you just share part of the story, and you'll be shocked sometimes by how people respond. On the Quick Cash Summit, like, it's hilarious when Sharice had to take a break to get her kids in line. That's when like it went up. It went up. It's like, that's not content. That's not teaching. That's life. And that's what people, like, they connect. And now it's like, okay, I really am here. Let's suck some in. So, like I said, you just kind of got to, yeah, you're right. You got to kind of feed off the energy of the people. But you'll realize that stories and life, people connect with that more than lessons.
Yep. And I've been trying, like, last time, I want to give a shout real quick, Josh Jones. Josh said Donnie is awesome at what he does. Between his posts on Facebook and LinkedIn, I've learned a ton. He offers valuable content. And Stacy, following up to what we just said, right, to her initial thing, said that's great advice. Get over it. Let your audience get to know you. Make them feel like they can rock with you. I hear you. Thank you. She said, hashtag I'm nodding. So there we go, Stacy. I look forward to seeing these prolific storytelling emails that you're about to start sending out starting this afternoon. So Donnie, right?
And I think TSP is a great place to kind of test some of that stuff out. You can like make posts in TSP. It's a supportive community. There's already an audience of people, and you can just see how people respond to those stories, and then take them out into your emails and everything else you do.
Yeah, just don't be trying to link to your opt-in and all that, y'all. I'm gonna have to delete your wonderful stories for you get a chance to see if they work. But yeah, like Donnie said, just tell a story without the links, and we'll try to push them to buy stuff from you. All right. So Donnie, so we talked a little bit about what's happening right now. Just overall, let's kind of take a step back and look at, like, this year as a whole, 2020. What are some of the trends, right, that you've seen as you send out emails You're part of a $10 million a year machine. I think the Quick Cash Summit, you said y'all had recently ran an email sequence that did like 600,000 in 2 weeks or something like that, something crazy like
Two
that.
weeks, yeah. Yep.
What are some of the trends that you're seeing that are working now that maybe you weren't trying before, or even like vice versa? Like, what's some of the things that you used to do that you no longer do because they just don't have the same amount of effectiveness?
Yeah. It seems like this is going to sound counterintuitive or is going to go against what I said before. We're sending a lot more short emails. I like writing long emails, but when it comes time to getting money, a lot of times you're doing a shorter email, but driving them to a piece that does sales in a more formal way, like a video where you can sell in whatever mode you operate in best. That's where you need to send people to. But a lot of times a shorter email, like really short, you just want to get people in the right frame of mind and then drop them off at that sales piece that you know is going to work really well. If it's a video, if it's a webinar, webinars are still working. Webinars are still killing it right now. Events or like a long sales letter, things like that. But you're using shorter emails instead of trying to tell the whole story in an email and then sending them someplace where they can just fulfill the order. I'm seeing a lot more of the short emails, sending them to a longer sales piece. I think the main reason is because they're on their phone more and more, and they don't want to read a super long email from. Well, like I said, I don't want to say that they love a short email if they can get one. Long emails still work, and I still write really long emails. But short emails really do work as long as you're sending them to something like a dedicated and like a well thought out sales piece. The other thing, let me say this. Right now, you cannot use the word coronavirus or COVID-19 in subject lines. You're going to go to spam if you get delivered at all. Like they're not doing that in Facebook ads. They're not going to approve those. I think Google Display is the same thing. So you have to be careful right now using those terms. You're going to have to. I don't know if they've caught on to Rona. I don't know if they caught on to that yet. But if you say coronavirus, you're going to get rejected or go to spam and COVID-19. So be really careful. And then also, like, if you're doing like a Facebook ad, the landing page, they might check that out too. So you might have to find your way around that. I'm not sure the best way to address it other than just talk about what the opportunity is. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's like a side point. Again, I'll go back to what I said before about being entertaining. In some way, I don't necessarily mean being funny, although there's funny, like Freddie Taylor emails, they'll get you going, right? But like if you're telling the stories as entertaining, and you could tell a part of the story and then send them someplace else to read the rest of it if you want to. But if you're telling like shocking news, like a hidden part of the story that you don't know, and more, I think people are relating to, well, not more and more, but like it's always been popular, but it's very popular to tie into current events, trending topics, like whatever's on TV or Netflix, I guess is better than TV probably these days. Celebrities, you can use celebrities forever, right? You can use politics. In 2020, there's a lot of, you can tie into political stuff like it's nothing. People are going to respond to those things that are kind of news related or popular story related. Like Billie Jean sent out an email this morning, why Bernie Sanders deserved to lose. You want to read that. What's Billy going to say about Bernie? It's going to be funny. So people are responding to and continuing to read entertaining people. They won't do boring. They need you to be entertaining in some way. So like if you're giving them behind the scene view of something that they're interested in, you're giving them an alternate perspective on a topic that everybody's talking about. Like I said, Freddie Taylor is like the man at that, right? He's going to take something and just make it saucy, right? He's just going to make it crazy. And yes, that's celebrities, trending topics, and you can relate to, everybody's watching Tiger King or whatever. You talk about whatever, everybody's talking about. Don't feel like everybody's talking about it, so I'm not going to talk about it. Just say, if everybody's talking about it, I'm going to tell the story that nobody's telling about. And so though entertaining is very important. Short is working. Don't feel bad about writing longer, but just make sure it's very tight. Don't spend a lot of time like using extra words and hemming and hawing and stuff. Get to the point and keep the emotions high. And those are the things that when I'm writing, like I try to keep in mind. Also, one other thing that you have to